There is love in hotel rooms. There are friends in hotel rooms. There are holidays in hotel rooms. There is escape in hotel rooms. There is anticipation in hotel rooms. There are police playing Russian roulette in hotel rooms. There are victims of Mossad in hotel rooms. There are journalists making love with subjects in hotel rooms. There are property developers fixing cricket matches in hotel rooms. There are tourists not speaking each other's languages in hotel rooms. There are rock stars listening to sycophants in hotel rooms. There are artists painting portraits of strangers in hotel rooms. There are poets channeling visions in hotel rooms. There are broken fans bang, bang, banging against wire frames in hotel rooms. There are bar fridges with overpriced booze in hotel rooms. There are unaccounted guests in hotel rooms. There is the possibility of moving on in hotel rooms. There is the chance to go elsewhere in hotel rooms. There is the freedom of knowing that this is not it in hotel rooms. There is liberation from all ties in hotel rooms. Everything is possible in hotel rooms, and that's why I like hotel rooms.
The 112 tram, Saturday the 28th of August 2010. On Gilbert Road, a tall singular green flower lifts like the ruffled neck of a Spanish courtier bowing, if only momentarily, before the native court of Montezuma, somewhere in the retreats of South America. On St. George's Road, a group of Chinese students gather together, tightly, covered in a thick, deep green foliage of their company body language, calling like cats, heads bobbing close as camellias. On Brunswick Street, a lone female Indian student, isolated by beauty and iPod earphones, squeezes between myself and a bearded fellow in his early 40s, standing but for his right leg kneeling on the seat, dressed for trekking in his Kathmandu wear, with matching backpack. He looks her over and dreams of climbing the Indian slopes. I close my eyes, feeling the warmth of my face through the tram windows, and in the pleasant emptiness, words come. Who is it who calls across this valley of sorrows? Who is it who makes these aloes bleed their balm? Who is it who gathers these fingers and toes into their baskets to make trinkets and necklaces for the kings, to question the queens of the breadth of their known domains? Or is it only but the interruption, the priceless accord of unsolicited minds? If that is the case, then welcome. Sit by me on this overcrowded tram. At St. Vincent's Plaza, the clouds swell in the late winter's empty branches, odd foliage for the old elms. At Treasury's Place, 5 palms in the square of our bronze poet. No fingers, only the fountain sprouts words to fill the sky's book. Peace.
This too will pass, and when it does, you will still have the wine, the moon, the friends, the moment, the anger and rage over, the love, the excitement, the satisfaction, the strange dissatisfaction, over and over again.
The middle-aged housewife shuffles past in her blue greatcoat, split like the husk of a dried pea. She does not seem to notice you as she browses amongst the strands of wrapped coriander. But you soon find out that such people have special powers. She has seen that your fly is half an inch undone. registered the untidy self-scissoredness of your beard. She has seen that you are slightly upset and a little cross, perhaps, with the mincing female shop assistant. But she is not completely sure. She thinks it may be with her. While the woman in front of you in the queue is buying very small cans of cat food, presumably for very small cats. And the man who mutters at himself and jerks and claws at himself with taloned hands has already read your mind and is recoiling from the sultriness and the immensity of your mental, ever-stretching, sun-baked, deserted aisles of cans.
This one is living in Collingwood or why I no longer share houses. I was 20 and living in Collingwood in the old miner's cottage with two friends, one of whom was becoming an alcoholic and who kept wine on tap in a cask in the fridge. Where the hammock hung between two trees out the back, the corrugated iron fence marking the boundary of a bluestone lane. Where we listened to Randy Newman on high rotation, hearing again and again, "Let's drop the big one." My friends making moulds of latex and hanging model dummies' legs on walls with strange additions. The grimy dead-end street where miners' cottages shared thin partitions and sounds and dust would hit you in the face. Where the old lady next door had been born, squinting in not quite right glasses, buttoning her faded pink cardigan at the front with a safety pin. The house I shared with a mortician and a Defence Department employee, the mortician secreting spare brains in brine in the living room, hanging up photos of dead people and bringing home free white overalls, which we would wear in homage to Clockwork Orange. And my alcoholic friend, who couldn't quite work out what was going on with her life, declared herself asexual. And then some years later, a non-drinking lesbian, but I came as a bridesmaid to the visa wedding in a white windcheater. But why she would get up early every morning and plant a knife in the kitchen table, I was never told. At a book launch at Readings about 2 months ago, and somebody there said, "Are you going to write a poem about that book?" And I said, "Okay, I can do that. I have to read the book first." So I read it and I wrote this poem. And the book is Ordinary Courage by Donna Mulhern. I am Donna, human shield. I will hold the orange prayer beads in my hands given to me by the man from the photo store the night before the bombing began, and remember the blessings of ordinary people. I will hold baby Noura in my arms, the baby without arms or legs in the orphanage in Baghdad, and remember the pure love of a small child. I will hold on to my convictions in my heart, the belief that war is not the way, and dare the invaders to bomb me. I will act as a human shield to protect a water treatment plant at the start of the war in Iraq, and remember that I cannot stand by and do nothing. I will hold on to my friends who share my convictions, and together we will keep fighting for peace by acting as witnesses to war and tell the world our truths. I will hold on to my sanity, though I feel it shaking as my body shakes with memories of bombs in the night, the death of children, blood everywhere, blood on my shoes, in my dreams. And remember that we can't let this be done in our name. I will find peace in my soul, past anger and bitterness. Find compassion for the ignorant who make war, and remember to tell my story, a story of ordinary courage.
Take me up to where the snow geese graze on the clouds, their feet slightly sinking into the soft, snowy candy floss. When the clouds grow grey and looming, their cloud fields grow moist and muddy, and their feet stick. So they fly away and come down to huddle and honk in backyards. When not feeding or flying, they tend their golden egg of light. And when they need to sleep, they huddle around it and extend their wings. And then it is night.
So something lighter. They're sending a spaceship to Earth to study the ancient society, and they will find when they get here a bar in Brunswick with a barman called Yanni, who doesn't speak French and who thinks Degas is pronounced Degas, like some kind of retro hippie affirmation. They will find beer bottles with blue circles, Japanese brushwork and elephant-headed stoppers. They will find poets squinting in bad light in those same bars, peering over notebooks in the summer heat, sipping Sauvignon Blanc beer and cool lemonade, composing the moment.
I'm going to do a couple of oldies. I wasn't going to, but if it's going to be on telly, I may as well do something I really like. This one's called Transported. A girl with short brown hair follows me onto the tram, wearing a brown and blue striped shirt. When she sits down, I think, I reckon she's a lesbian. Then she sits at a medium distance facing me, then moves to a nearer seat facing away. On closer inspection, I decide that she isn't gay, or maybe she is, but she mightn't be, and I think she moved closer to talk maybe. The tram starts to move, and the sunlight catches my eyes. I see us. We're old lovers, the oldest of friends. We sit on the tram holding hands. The young people look at us wondering. We smile at them, a world-wizened, careworn pair. I'm looking at the back of her head, and her hair's a little too styled, too combed, a fraction too long. She's straight, all right. A straightie of the kind that are hung up, always sensitive, hypochondriac, wants a man to make her decisions for her, then blame him for not satisfying her in bed, for not being everything she ever fucking wanted. I don't know this girl, I decide. She's all right, I guess.
We've just been through this great big election thing. God, what are they doing? What are they achieving? They're so busy. Where are they going? Do they know where they're going? So I thought, well, you know, I think I could give some advice to the politicians. Someone has to. I mean, really. Don't stay awake for 3 days depending on amphetamines, cocaine, caffeine and Red Bull. Keep regular hours. Go to bed early. Get up with the sun, but not before. Relax a little. Take a siesta. Make love in the afternoon. Spend time with friends. Read a book. Do all your work in the morning and take the rest of the day off. Running hard is all very well, but where are you running to? What are you running from? Don't act like a junkie truckie. There is enough roadkill already in Canberra.
The boat rocks, sea almost over the top, up and down, an expanse of blue dwarfs the boat that rocks. It's almost too small to stay afloat. Scared and worried faces peer from beyond shelter, looking out for a home that's safe. They want a home that can feed them and clothe them, that isn't rubble, a home that exists. White men stalking around back in the land which they fled, promising a life just like theirs, prosperous and safe. Bombing their homes, kidnapping their cousins, murdering their fathers, but they cannot wait for the bombs to stop falling. Perhaps their homes are much nicer, safer. After all, the rumours of a ticket at an office somewhere prove to be false. Perhaps this means it's too good for them, but they have no choice. They must find a way. The uncertain scene breaks with masked men circling their boat. They tower from beyond gunmetal grey. The men march, boat people, along a desert shore, so unlike what they were promised. Cages all around, shutting them in, mocking them, reminding them of the place they were running from. A sick circle of life, where the road out of oppression just leads to another. Chasing cages, chasing with taunting wire, stretching anywhere you try to escape. A young man, barbed wire making him bleed. He's chasing cages, trying to push them back. All around him, they sit trapped and given up. Red streaked hand clutches gunmetal wire, breaking through the despair, looking for a way out, looking for someone to help him.
I used to live in India, and I went back there a couple of years ago to do a thesis on a remote tribal community on the edge of a glacier. And I wrote this piece, and that's the piece that I read at that reading. So I thought I'd read it again, and none of you have heard it, which is great. That man who was disturbing my sleep has gone. He left at sunrise when the snow on the mountain peaks shines gold in the dawn. To walk where there are no roads, where the shepherds grow across the glacier, leaving the door open, the bed unmade, taking with him his beautiful face and a little piece of my self-possession.
When everything else fades away, when there is nothing else to write about, nothing to eat, nothing to do, and no one to talk to, there's always the neighbours playing We the Love Generation, or True Blue, or some song by Slade at 3 a.m, 20 times in a row, with the windows open, just for you. I suppose it's best to assume a grateful posture and say, well, at least they are something. At least they are there. You can't say you're alone in the world. Not really. Even if you do hate them, even if you do visualise putting a gun in that drunk bogan fuckwit's mouth, pushing him onto his knees, tears streaming down his face. What was I saying again? Oh yeah, gratitude for the neighbours. It's all about looking at the bright side. I'm not exactly sure why it's all about that, but that's what it's all about. Jesus said it best, love thy neighbour. The theory being that it's harder to pull the trigger and leave that cunt's brain sprayed all over the walls when deep, deep down in your soul you really love that bogan hillbilly piece of shit.
The brave cafe that still stands serves defrosted frozen cake, but don't look for petrol. In Kinglake, it turned to fire. The hills stretch for miles, burned, denuded, sad. The apocalypse has come and gone. Black trees, brown leaves, scorched earth are what remain. Don't go to Kinglake without much petrol because no one sells it anymore. Both stations blew up and what remains are metal skeletons and heaps of broken, twisted stuff. I never saw the valley of the shadow of death before. I only heard the words, but now I have seen a land where life evaporated and even the ghosts have gone.
This is my very latest one. It's called Thursday Night Poem. The dilatory bus arrives at the stop and shrugs its shoulders. I wear the dirty lampposts as overcoats. Unruly buildings rattle in my pockets. Delay licks my nose with a parrot's tongue. You are sleeping in my head. Thank you.
And this is a spring poem. You know, we're getting into spring again, spring feeling. And I think it's right for this time of year. It's morning, and dawn silhouettes the bedroom blinds. Outside, the last of the camellias fall on the lawn, and blossom shows its face on the apricot tree. I am wondering when we will meet. You, always so busy. Me, waiting for you. But my breasts can already feel your hands.
I'd like to read this for Di. It's just the beginning of a much longer piece that she was the first person to hear, and she enjoyed it, so I'd like to read the beginning of it. It's also the place where we first met, I think. Towers. Noisy miners have invaded the top floors of the Menzies building. A multi-million-dollar refurbishment is in process. Holes have been punched through the dusty cement, live wires exposed, and drops opened in the prudent zone where every window is pegged against suicidal impulse. After twilight, the birds set up their ambitious racket. The noise is incredible. It raises questions about the theory of evolution. So much energy spent on accelerated breath, such intense vibration of the vocal passage should doom the mucous membrane to burn itself out quick as magnesium. Instead, the flock flourishes, it multiplies. For months, the humanities have been lost to reason. It is as though the birds are the ones taking the building apart. Their cries crackle and crunch through the high tones like 1,000 strong jaws shattering musical wine glasses. The exhausted mind's eye opens on dream or myth, on cannibal, noisy miners enthusiastically intent on the crystalline sugar of one another's bones as they give themselves up to the perpetual delight of consumption. Their droppings fall, but before they hit the ground, each liquid blob sprouts wings and reascends, blow-dried, to heaven to begin again. It is an abbreviation of the cycle of life.